Hello. Yes, I have been deceived by the devil. My whole life, I've been deceived by the devil. Because, let me just start it like this. When I was like 5 or 6 years old, I'll tell you, I lived with my grandparents in a big house. And in the basement was my mother and I in a furbished apartment. And around 4 in the morning, I must have been hungry. And around this time, my father died. So around this time, 4 in the morning, I must have been hungry. And I was going upstairs in the basement, from the basement upstairs. And I looked to the right when I'm about to go up the stairs, and there's this big floating gas-like spirit, a ghost. It was big, and it was kind of like that thing from Ghostbusters called Slimer. And it was big and floating. It had sharp, jagged teeth. And red, angry eyes just grilling me, you know. And I ran up the stairs on all fours with the biggest rush. Nice and fast, like a little doggy. You know what I'm saying? And, yeah, so I know that wasn't a dream. Because let me explain what was to follow this. I grew up a rebel. Like we grow up, some of us grow up. And bullying my buddies around, giving them a punch in the arm here and there, ha ha. And I'd bully my people at school or my friends and stuff. But not bad. I always had a kind spirit. Just a little bit of a rebel. And I played baseball most of my life. And when I was about 12 years old, my cousin, my male cousin, we were swimming in the pool, and he pinched on my penis. And I got out of the pool. I said, "Oh, I'm telling on you." And I was just like messing with him. So I came back and I let it go. I don't know why. I didn't understand really. I was young. He was my wiffle ball buddy. Play wiffle ball. We play sports together, football and everything. And I don't know. Somehow I gave in to the fact that, you know, we ended up going inside and he touched me, whatever. I couldn't even climax, you know. When he got me to that point, I couldn't. I had to pee. I was young and I didn't understand. Let me just say that. And my brother, my male brother, obviously, or my male cousin molested my brother too around this time. But the difference between him and I is that they lived together 16 years later, 17 years later, now they live together. My male cousin and my brother. In another state. But they'll go to family events and parties and it's like nothing ever happened, you know. I told my mom, and I said something to one of my uncles one time and he yelled at me. I think we were at a Red Sox game and he was getting on me about a job, but at this time, my life was just in shambles because that's not even the worst part of my life. That turned me into an alcoholic alcoholic, but I was a chronic masturbator my whole life. And a sex addict and a lustful person. And that's not the way God intended us to be. But as I've gone to church as a kid and I've always wanted to go. I always wanted to get in and get out. I know that. I don't know if that's just our nature or I just had this thing watching me my whole life. And I really never let it sink in because of our pride and our ego, and life gets in the way. We don't think about these things. We just do what's satisfying to us, what's going to get us through to the next day. We don't think about God. We don't think about Jesus. But that's our problem. It's all about me. Me. But no. It's going to be about you when you go to hell. That's for sure. Why? Because we're not to be like this. Going after everything. Fulfilling every temptation the devil's throwing at you. Oh, I want to do this. Oh, well, I'm going to do it then because it's going to make me feel better. No. You need to read the Bible and you need to do what Jesus would like of you. You need to be like Jesus. I just get kind of worried because it said something about by the time you realize it's going to be too late because you're going to be so selfish. But anyways, by the time I wanted to stop masturbating. Sorry, hold on. I want to also say, when I was 16 years old, it's when I broke my pitching shoulder. And I had sex with the second person I ever had sex with, and they gave me a STD. And it's been undetectable for 13 years. I haven't, it's never been, it never comes up on the test. And it's really hard for me to sit here and say this, especially to the world. But we need to wake up. These devils, these demons, they're cursed. They're bringing the curse down on us, man. And you just got to make the right decisions in life and be a decent person. And even when you think you're a decent person, always strive to be better. Read that Bible and figure out what Jesus wants you to be and be like that. Preach his name. I already want to leave my house and with a sign and stand out on the road and preach his name. Anyways, for 13 years now I've been struggling. I've been to the psych ward about 10 times. Because I'll never get married. I'll never have a girlfriend. I don't want to hurt anybody. I can't have sex with anybody, which is no big deal, but it was a big deal to me all this time. So recently I just started watching Jesus documentaries, and I stopped masturbating and watching pornography. And all of a sudden, before I went to bed 2 weeks after, because it was like a 2-week binge on Jesus. Before I went to bed, because I was really spiritual, I always thought I seen something at night. I'd look into the dark, and I always thought I seen something. So before I went to bed that morning, I was like, "Hey, I see you. You want me to shut the light off for you?" And I was like just playing around, and I shut the light off. I laid in bed. I turned over, and then it started rubbing on the back of my head like that. Some spirit. It's got to be something that's been watching me for a long time. Whispering in my ears, something. And that was December 18th, 2018. And now it's February 20th, 2019. And right around then was Christmas, right? So I didn't have Jesus in my life. I still didn't know anything about him. And I'm still trying to find out. Still trying to learn about him. So this thing was tickling my anus, tickling my scrotum, touching my penis. And at first I didn't know what was going on, This thing has the power to go under your bed, sink through your mattress and touch your back. That's how powerful these things are. This thing can touch whatever spot it wants to touch on me, my head or anything, no matter how many pillows I put on top of it. You know what I'm saying? It can get wherever it wants. It can mess with you however it wants. It can torment you however it wants. And the reason I'm telling my secret, my strong secret that I held so long, is because I want the world to know that Satan has to be real. He's done this to me. And it's my fault for giving in to the temptations. It's not God's fault. It's not the fault of Jesus. I love Jesus still. Why would you not love Jesus? He doesn't do anything wrong to anybody. And he's warned us about these things. Even if I die and burn at the end, I'm still going to be the best I can be. And not just the best I can be. I'm full-fledged. I want to go to the street for Jesus, and I want to put up a sign. Let passing cars know what's going on. I want my own ministry one day. I know things other people don't know. And I am a decent person. I am a kind person. I want to help everybody I see. I just need to practice that Bible, regularly. Let Jesus in my life. Let him give me the salvation he wants to give me. Praise Jesus. Probably turned into his enemy because I was disobeying him, falling for every temptation the devil threw at me. And look where it got me. This thing is still touching my head right now. Can't see it, but I see him sometimes. I see little white balls. I don't even know what's going on. But I want you all to know not to take this lightly, this life. Make it the best life you can make it. For Jesus, not for yourself. Be the best you can be with Jesus. Not with yourself. With that being said, so for 13 years now, I've been sitting around eating, smoking, gaining lots of weight, becoming obese, struggling with these thoughts of depression, just attacking my heart. This thing is squeezing on my heart too. I feel my heart pinch. I just might die soon. And it would be because of a demon. But I'm going to do what I can for Jesus. I'm going to do what I can to get rid of these, to be the best person I can be and live out my life. Because you know what? Jesus can heal. God can heal. How about when I was, I still didn't want to listen. When I went to a rehab a couple years ago, I had got a real bad toothache. I was suicidal. I wanted to read the Bible before I kill myself or something. So I picked up the Bible. I read it. And at the end of the rehab, I ended up calling 911 to go to a psych ward. And they were mad at me because they wanted to put me to another rehab. So I ended up going to the psych ward. And when I went to the psych ward, there was 3 people there. I think they were angels because they took form of, they were regular people, but they were talking things about my life. Just as soon as I pick up the Bible, they came to answer me. I'm telling you, pick up that Bible. Get right what's wrong in your life. I don't really know if I should tell the story about what they said or did, but one kid, he picked up a cup of water and passed it to me, and he called me from my friend's name that I grew up with. But the thing is, the kid I grew up with, that he called me by my friend's name, he walked in. Some kid that will look like my friend walked in there too. And there was a black girl walking around screaming and yelling things about my life. You want to be a rapper? You better never get a car. Because I keep thinking about getting a car. And guess what? I got a car after that, like a fool. And she said, there's STD, there's diseases out there, and this and that, and just spilling it on me. And I'm walking around paranoid at this point because this is the first time I'm getting biblical and trying to do better for myself. And I'm walking around like this, and I walked over to the kid at the end of the hallway. He had his hands behind his back looking like this, looking like a 1,000-yard stare. And I walked over to him after he handed me the cup of water, and after he said, you want some water, Chris? I was like, my name is Kyle. Where'd you get Chris from? And then he ignored me. He walked in the hallway. And then I walked over to the end of the hallway after. I was like, hey, my name is Kyle. Where'd you get Chris from? He's like, I'm your guardian. And then I was so, kind of stunned. I just let it go. I walked to my seat, but then I was like, what is going on there? I'm going nuts. With good, I had the right to go nuts there. Alright, and that kid that walked in that looked like my friend, his feet were sticking out of the wall. He was behind a wall, but I could see his feet sticking out there. And every time I'd say, shake your feet, his feet would start shaking. So he can hear, people can hear our thoughts, alright? And I know this thing that's on me right now can hear my thoughts. It's, if I said in my mind, go to my feet, goes right to my feet. When I close my eyes right now, I see this little circle ball, and it's spinning and spinning in my eyelid. I don't know I might be destined for hell, my friends. But I'm not gonna, give up my faith and my hope and my belief in Jesus. Hey, if he wants me to be that good person, that's who I'm gonna be. I'm not living like this no more. So, yeah, I'm kind of going blank. What was I going to say at the end? Oh, I was going to say at the end that my life has been so traumatic and kind of freaky. And I've been living in a torture cell in my mind all this time because I haven't had God or Jesus. So I'm urging you, if you have children, turn your children to Jesus Christ. Get them good with God. God is great. God is amazing. Look at this amazing world He gave us. Look at this amazing world He gave us. And I gotta make it up to Him somehow. How can I make it up to God? He doesn't need me, does He? Well, I'm here telling you this. And trying to better myself. But I wanted to tell you that I'm kind of up on the devil. I think he really has it out for me for some reason. Because if you were to go on YouTube and type in Cartman hitting Kyle with a wiffle ball bat, type that in. Cartman hitting Kyle with wiffle ball bat. And you watch the minute version or whatever. And you'll see that they go out on this boat onto some water. But the water looks like there's clouds on the water and there's a sky. And it's the clouds in the sky that there is, rowing the boat on. And the way that scene goes down is the way I sit in my room and torture myself in my mind. He can hear my thoughts. He knows exactly how I feel, and I know He's behind this whole South Park thing. You get people away from that South Park. I'm telling you. My name is Kyle. And I'm not playing. God bless. Praise Jesus. Praise God. Let's change the world. Let's change the world. Tell your kids to wrap it up. Use protection. Get them away from that South Park. That garbage. Get them away from a television set. Get them on the street with you. Holding up that sign for Jesus. You go after Jesus and you do what Jesus tells you to do. Listen to your heart. Listen to Jesus. What would Jesus do?